Transform Ministries here in the state of Maine, Peru. I won't be with you, but for a few moments, I just wanted to get on here and number one, test out my new digs. I had to move the studio upstairs because there was so much going on downstairs with the humidity and things of that nature. And so it was kind of a little congested down there. So I thought I'd bring the studio upstairs. And as you can see, I'm still trying to decorate here and make sure everything is right for you guys. Just trying to do what I need to do. God bless you. Thanks for joining today. I wanted to just get in a couple of bullet points on some of the things that I've been hearing and experiencing since the last time we've talked concerning the spirit of narcissism. I really tried to put together a sermon today, but the Holy Spirit kept telling me, no, just get on and talk, and he'll fill in the blanks as need be. So I said, all right, cool. Got it. I'll do that. But I will caution you all, just as before when I was up here, I have been severely attacked in my sinuses and my the adenoids and things up in here. I decided to start while I was on vacation here from work to clean out my wife's father's garage and just, get things ready for the cold winter months that are approaching. And I did a fairly good job, still not done, but I did a lot. And in me doing a lot, the weather started to change along with all the dust and stuff that's flying all over the garage, etc. And I was like, oh, wow. So anyone that knows me knows that I have the asthmatic condition. Sometimes it'll pronounce itself. And so I've been battling a severe head cold here for like about almost 3 days now. I'm trying not to take a lot of the antihistamines and all that stuff and the Benadryl. I'm just trying to drink orange juice and keep my head warm so that it can eventually flush out. But every so often I'll take an antihistamine, but I try not to. So if I sound a little congested, please forgive me. I did want to get up here and do this segment tonight. But also I said, no, I don't want to because I'm so tired. I was up early this morning. I was up late last night doing a website for a friend of mine who has a new business coming here to Maine. And I was doing websites and logos about 3 a.m. And I'm like, oh, then I had to get up and had to go into the city this morning. And yesterday morning and this morning, I just was dead. So, but anyway, I am here. God bless you. I want to talk about the spirit of narcissism versus the spirit of discernment. Okay. And as I spoke with you guys before, a while ago, I let you know that I have been dealing with, or I am dealing with online, a couple of atheist friends, and I call them friends because they are. We just have varying viewpoints on things of the spirit, which is fine. I don't shy away from that. I believe that any gospel that is devoid of questioning and circumspection is not a true gospel. I don't shy away from the questions. I'm not narcissistic in that wise. There's a tad bit of narcissism that I roll with, but I quickly have to quell it, because that leads to the ego. And I think a lot of us deal with that. And so when they talk to me, I talk to them. I just was dialoguing with a friend of mine tonight. He's out of New Jersey. He knows who he is. I won't call his name. Dynamic man. That I love his fervor and his verve concerning what he wants to accomplish. I just don't agree with what he wants to accomplish, but the spirit and the impactfulness that and the desire that he wants to do or he puts forth is great. It's just that I don't agree what he's using it for. But that doesn't mean that I can't come to the table and reason. I don't want to change people's minds. I don't proselytize. I don't have time for that garbage. I got way more stuff on my plate to do than to try to keep up with folks that I'm trying to convert to Christianity and all sorts of stuff. I've been there, done that. I've been an evangelist, and I've done all that stuff. And that's not my lane anymore. However, I do evangelism through YouTube and whatever, and we go there. But on the heels of my friends on the atheist part of my Facebook page, I've been learning a lot concerning how people think, not just in church but throughout the diaspora, because there's been some things that I've seen on his page from people that follow him that I'm like, what? But I have to back up. So, well, wait a minute, either you were once there, or there are many ways to the one way. There are many avenues and many tributaries that lead us to that one source anointing, that one source, that one power, which I call Christ, which I call the Christ consciousness. And a lot of people don't subscribe to that, and it's fine. But I'm just here to plant seed, and to voice my opinion. I don't know it all, but what I can say is I move in truth. I don't cut corners. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm real. I don't lie. I don't have to lie because I don't owe you no money. If I owe you some money, yeah. But I owe you no money. I owe you nothing but to love you. So trust me, you're going to get the whole truth from Kyle. So let's get into it quickly. I think we're going to I want to use my phone here if you guys don't mind, because this is kind of impromptu and I'm trying to be a little quick because I'm so stuffy up here. School's back in session in a few days. I've been on vacation, been trying to do a lot of cleaning around the house. What's up, man? Around the house and things of that nature. Someone's moving behind me. That have been one of the cats. And been having a great time with the family. Just had an anniversary with my wife, 10 years. 10-year anniversary was on the 24th, and I thank God for that. It's wonderful. It's just like it's almost every day. We have issues like every other relationship, but we learn to work them out by what? She go to one end of the house and I go to the other end of the house, and we wait it out, and then we come together, because I always tell her that tomorrow or yesterday will never come again. So whatever's in yesterday needs to stay there. All right. God bless you. We're going to do 1 Corinthians chapter 2, starting at verse 11, talking about the spirit of narcissism versus the spirit of discernment. And in my little monologue, I want to say, because I want to really aim this to some of the younger people. I'll be 53 this year, in a few months, actually. And I'm here to tell you, I haven't seen it all, but I've seen a lot. And what I am noticing is through the avenues of social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, also WhatsApp, whatever you're using. Did I miss one? Yeah, Pinterest. I don't care, whatever you're using. There is, in my opinion, an attack on the sovereignty of the interdependency of humans. What do you mean, sir? What I mean is that we were called, or we are tribal people. Let me say that first. We are tribal, which means we are called to build societies based on the help of someone else. We are interdependent. We're not called to be independent. I know someone said one day, one time or another, that no man is an island. You're going to need somebody sometime. Even if you get in a car accident, you can't drag yourself out the car, depending on how severe the car accident was. You're going to need the ambulance. You're going to need the jaws of life. You're going to need an IV or with a morphine drip. You're going to need something, some Band-Aids, some gauze, whatever they Narcan, whatever you need something to help you live. And what I have been witnessing since the top of the year, because I know I gave a prophecy, which I don't have. I think it's in this book or not, but I gave a prophecy at the end of December concerning the things that are going to be going on this year. And one of the things that I said was social media is going to be, especially YouTube, is going to be doing some really subliminal messages in order to get our children. It's going to seem so subtle and so innocent. And even my son, right now he's on YouTube break. He hadn't watched YouTube in 5 to 4 days. I had to cut him because I see that some of the characters and personalities on YouTube, they are influential and can be influential to young minds, especially he's 9. And so we know that 9 is medically discerned or medically noticed as the year of life where a male and a female start to really make decisions on who they are, getting into the gender type situations. And state of Maine, we kind of got it bad here. I mean, I'm not Democrat or Republican in a sense, but there's some stuff going on up in Maine that's like, wow, really. I'm not going to say it on here because this is not a political punch here, but there's some stuff going on here in Maine that's like, wow. So I don't want to. I want to be able to let my kid, give him some rope. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta tighten that rope because of the things that I hear. I go downstairs and I'm listening, and my wife will tell you every 35, 40 minutes, what you watching? Or I'll go on my phone because the internet's connected to the phone in the house, the internet in the house, and I got a YouTube account that's connected, so I can go on my phone and go into the history to see what he's watching on the TV, and it's just, and then the way that sometimes he treats his not treats, but sometimes when he speaks to his mother, I have to get him on about that because words are power, words are seeds. And words, when words are seeds, they get planted in good ground, and they are not dealt with before they take root. Then that's going to come up at another part of that person's life, and that person's relationship. Like he might say something jokingly to my wife about blah 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 blah, which back in the day, I'm from North Carolina, and if I'd have said it to my mom, I'd have got slapped through the wall. But I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, so you can't be saying that. Why? He'll say, why? I said, because then I had to explain it to him, this, and this. And for whatever reason, I'm one of the very few people that just believes in this, that we have to be mindful of what our kids are intaking and what they're outputting. He was some of the YouTube stuff. And then I noticed that his attitude was changing around his mother. And so, I had to check him on that because, again, words are seeds. So when those words go into the psyche of a person, they take root. And if they are not managed properly, which means either uproot them or you can sit there and meditate on them. And if it's the wrong thing to say, when it comes forth, what happens generally is a parent will allow a kid to do something because the kid already planted the seed 6 months ago, and it grew and start to blossom out of the parent. So the parent is not speaking, the seed is speaking. Y'all will get that tomorrow at the water cooler. Anyway, so the parent is not speaking. It's the plant that now grew from the seed that was planted by the son, which he got off YouTube. So because I am a teacher, and I'm a leader, I'm a father, and I'm a listener, the spiritual listener, I don't do a lot of, I'm not great at natural listening. I'm working on that, the 80-20 rule. But as far as spiritual listening, I listen very well. And whenever I hear something, I got to cut him. But wait, no, we're not letting that take root. Nowhere in this house, nowhere in nobody. So let's recoil, recant is the word I need to say, recant that statement that you said, and then he will correct himself. And so I think that when we talk about uh, narcissism in this society, we are talking about people who pretty much, know it all, but don't want to listen to nobody else's know it all. They don't want to reason. It's all about them. It's all about me and my three. It's all about what they want, and to the point where it is, you could be talking to them, and they don't hear what you say unless it's something that's coming out of you to override their agenda, and then they'll cut you off. And if it doesn't roll with their agenda, you could be telling the truth. You can be telling the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But if your truth does not align with how they think, then they will displace it. They'll disqualify it. And I was telling this to my friend concerning that. He was like, well, not just trying to switch gears a little bit. He was saying, well, he didn't answer my question. He said, well, your question is pointless. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why is my question pointless? Is it because it doesn't fit your agenda? So it's not that I didn't have a point. It's just that because of what I said didn't click with his agenda, then he tosses it. But that's childish. Only children do that. Children don't want to listen to instruction and to reason, because a lot of folks don't want to be taught because they think they know it all, a la narcissism. And I used to be that way a little bit, but because I was so hungry for teaching and wisdom and knowledge, I was willing to get it from anybody. You know what I'm saying? Anybody. And so in me doing that, I learned how to eat the meat and spit the bones out, especially if it didn't align with my not my religion, my teaching in the church and Christianity, things like that. I didn't toss it, but I didn't keep it. In other words, I took it and I said, well, it's got to be something in what you say that's going to help me at some point, either now or down the road, because nothing comes to you by happenstance. There's always a reason why something is said to you, because words are power. There's something that happens when a word, which is a seed, enters into your ears and it enters into your mind. And if we're not cognizant in what it is, we could miss our blessing. We could miss the piece of the jigsaw puzzle that we've been struggling with for 6 years, what that person said. But if we refute it and we disqualify it, then we may never know. And so I think social media has been blocking young children's ability to intake wisdom. Because if you notice, and I was saying this to somebody the other day, most of our TV sets are well, not this one. This is actually my man cave. I got my 65 right here, and and it's on level ground. It's on level ground. It's level with my eyes. But the TV downstairs is a little bit high, because that's where the bolts were when we moved in here, and I didn't feel like taking the bolts out, repossessing them, whatever. But subliminally, you have YouTube talking to your kid from a higher heightened position, okay? Which means what? Which means that when person is talking to your kid, or anybody is talking down. So it is an area, it is an atmosphere of that is condescending. Are you with me on today? So it's most as if the person is getting the information, the kid is getting it from a higher state. So now it's like he's up here and I'm down here. So now we have the spirit of servitude subliminally. And that's a signal that's sent into that kid's brain that is still developing at age 6, 7, 8, 9. So by the time they turn 12, they are wanting to and he's my son same way. He wanted to be the next YouTube guy. He wanted to get 10 million subscribers so he can get money for me, get money for mama and all stuff. And I said, that's great, son, but what we can't do is um pipe dream. Not saying it can't happen. What I'm saying is that a lot of times these platforms are specifically designed to woo and to mesmerize and to hypnotize kids, so that when they begin to get of age, when they get 12, 13, 14, they cannot spiritually discern situations. And I'm not saying spiritually discern concerning that they do a church and like that, because in my for my opinion, everything's spiritual. It is just in a natural atmosphere. This laptop I'm looking at, spiritual. Cell phone, the computer mouse, the glasses, these are this remote here. These things are spiritual, but they are in a natural state where it is they can be tangible, they can be touched, right? So we have to understand that no one knows it all. I think that a lot of us who have relationships that start out would do well if they started out the relationship with, let me help you out. You do not know everything, and neither do I. We are here to learn together, which means it takes more than one, which the narcissistic spirit, which leads to the ego, doesn't like. The narcissistic spirit wants to say whatever I know is what you need to agree with, because what I know is always attached to an agenda, and that agenda is me. Getting back to my friend in Jersey, me. And no, ain't only you. No, it's us. You can't do anything by yourself. You can't even use the bathroom by yourself. Believe it or not, you can't. You can say, I'll use the bathroom outside. You can't use the bathroom by yourself. Because in order for you to use the bathroom, you got to pay the water bill. And the water bill is governed by people down at the water plant that you don't know, but they helping you use the bathroom. What, I'll use it outside? Okay, well, unless you're gonna be buff in buff and let it all hang out in the middle of the street, which we know you're not gonna do. You need trees or a car fender, a car door. The trees were made by the creator. What wasn't made by you, and the door was made by Ford Motor Company. So you still need the help. I get in there. I get deep. All right. I get that deep so that nobody has an excuse. They would have to take 15 different thoughts to even come close to where I am. So what I'm saying is, and I'll get to the scripture in a minute. And I'm using my son again for an example. I read a book. Do I have it in here? No, it's downstairs. I think I showed you guys this earlier this year. It's called The Original Blessing by Matthew Fox. And a good friend of mine, not a good friend of mine, but someone that I just, he friended me on Facebook. I friended him. Well, he friended me on Facebook, Aaron Tomlinson. Powerful man of God. Powerful. I mean, esoteric thinker, etherical thinker. Put his life story on YouTube. I mean, look at my Aaron Thomason. I learned about him when I was reading up on the Order of Melchizedek, and he's fabulous. He recommended this book, The Original Blessing by Matthew Fox, and in the book, Matthew Fox, he writes a passage about Carl Jung, who was, a little bit of theologian. He was I think he was a physicist, and he was just he was a great thinker, and some people will call him heretical, but Uh, I love Carl Jung. Go figure. So Carl Jung was said that you cannot kill sin. You have to outrun it. If you try to destroy or kill sin, then sin can never be subject to your mind. So he says you try to outrun it, that it would always be chasing you. It will always be chasing you, or it will always have to follow you, as opposed to you becoming a slave to it. But he also says something about getting people to be on the same page as you. And I'm going into social media here in just a second, and I'm going to tie this in, and we'll go to the scripture, and we'll get out of here. He said that if you have a dog that doesn't want to do what you want to do, you have a couple of recourses. Either shoot the dog, or you take the dog for a walk, because that's what it wants. It wants to be out of the house. It wants to be in the community. It wants to walk, exercise, right? And then if you do that enough times, then when you come back to the dog with a request, then the dog will be more susceptible to follow through. Now, atheists might say, oh, that sounds like God condescending and want to rule and la 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 la. No, it's not it. What it's called is being smart. If you want somebody to do something for you, then it is apropos that you learn how to find out what that person likes and dislikes. Now go into social media, and social media does a great job at marketing and finding out what kids like. These YouTube videos they're seeing up here for nothing. You know, they got and you got kids out there now making their own videos, because they know if they make enough videos, and they make enough, or they get enough hits or subscribers, then YouTube is going to give them a check. So at the end of the day, what the likability is getting money at the expense of not being spiritually dialed into what you're looking at, what you're listening to. So let's go to the scripture here. Let's get some clarity here in a second. I'm gonna put my glasses on. Bless you. All right, we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 11. And this is coming out of the King Jimmy. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the spirit of a man, which is in him? Even so, the things of God knoweth no man but the Spirit of God. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God. This is my punchline here. I'm going to say that again, because somebody didn't like it. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God. I'm going to cut this verse 14 into two comments here. The first comment is, the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit, which means what? If you are not spiritually inclined, then you're going to look at everything natural. But the natural did not come first. The Spirit came first. You can take church and throw it out the window. You can shove it off a cliff. It doesn't matter. You can burn down every mosque, every temple in the world, and this statement will still hold true. The Spirit came first. It is just that books like the Bible back it up. Everything that you see, and I teach this, is an illusion, because there was always a what you see here is a blueprint. Well, there was a blueprint that was before this cup. It was in the mind of somebody else before it became reality. And mind is spirit. or should be. Watch this. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. So this is the reason why I've dialed down a little bit my dialogue with, some of the atheist community, is because I'm realizing, okay, I'm casting pearls for the swine. There's no way they're going to understand it until what? They stop being, until the spirit of ignorance is lifted. There's no way. And it's going back to my days where I used to talk with the 5%ers, the Muslims, Buddhists. I spent on the street corners, but Jesus and go to scripture. I got the Greek, the Hebrew. I used to, go to UNC Wilmington Library. I told my friend this, and I would study for hours, getting all the Rosetta Stone, the Hammurabi books, Egyptology, and connecting it to the scriptures, and St. John's Gospels, connected them, and John and Jesus at the River Jordan, and and they went down to Egypt. Also, I did all that stuff, bro. Connected different comparative languages. It was there. But I figured out one thing. What I figured out was, if I don't have a discerning spirit to discern what's I don't want to say good from evil, but to discern what's righteous from what's unrighteous, then what's going to happen is my mind will succumb to anything that is fed to me. And when I start, and if what is fed to me is not checked by righteousness, then later, just like I said, my son was talking to my wife, it will become a situation wherein my son will begin to be narcissistic. Why? Because now the parent is allowing the child to do what he wants to do. And because the child knows that that's the parent, he said, okay, mama's let me or daddy let me do what I want to do. So therefore, I'm right. That is an imbalance. Proverbs talks about that. An imbalanced weight is an abomination to the Lord. Abomination, not necessarily a bad word. Abomination means there's something that doesn't compute with the Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of God. And so our kids begin to be narcissistic because they don't have the power or the wherewithal, or they haven't been taught to my phone keeps turning off here, to discern good from evil. Let's continue to read. For they are foolishness, verse 14, unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned, as I just said. Now, the word know or knew in the Greek is the word gnosis. Most of you know that, but what a lot don't know is that it also means intimacy. Intimacy. So the question now is, who and what am I being intimate with, and what is being exchanged during that intimacy? And this is where a lot of people that I know don't get it. Okay, they don't get it. The more of something you watch, the more you become intimate with. You know it. Intimacy does not necessarily, in this sense, mean a husband and wife, getting together, or boyfriend girlfriend getting together and having intercourse. And none of that. Intimacy means that there is an exchange of information. There's an exchange of chemical, serotonin and dopamine levels. They have to rise and fall at the expense of what the child is taking into his eye gate. Okay. So there is a chemical ritual that's going on, an exchange. Time for information. Okay. My kid's time as he watches TV for information is being passed along to him. So that being said, let me do the electric slide over here a little bit to some of what my friend was saying concerning children. And I didn't respond because I just couldn't. Because if I did, this was 2 days ago. I saw it. I'd still be texting. I said, I just can't. I had to wrangle my spirit to not reply to this guy's statement concerning, he thinks that children should, be left to themselves to do what they think what they think is best, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, Another statement he was saying, a couple other people saying, yeah, you're right. I don't clip my son's wings. I let him be a free thinker to do what he wants to feel so he needs to do. And I'm like, I got to get on YouTube and talk about this, because this is the spirit of narcissism that's starting to creep into America. And people parents and adults are trying to pass this along to their children. There's no way, and I told him this, there's no farmer that plants a seed and leaves it. No farmer. And I also told him, I said, my wife and I, we plant gardens every year. Sometimes we flip flop, but this year we did both together, separate ones. And I said, not once did we just put seed in the ground and leave it. And I said, matter of fact, we did not once take the seed and just throw it over there in the soil and just hope that the seed finds its way into the soil. No, you got to nurture the seed. You got to make sure that the seed gets a proper amount of sunlight. Okay, you got to make sure you get a proper amount of water. You got to make sure that if it's downwind, that the wind in July or August or whatever is not going to rip the plant in half or whatever. You got to position it, reposition. If it's like if it's a flower or something, it's a potted plant or something, like a potted flower, you got to turn it. You can do all this stuff. So the mere fact that people are saying in this dispensation that they are wanting to let their own children be their own masters is absolutely egregious. And I don't even use that word a lot. I can't even use ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. It is egregious. I think that's how you pronounce that. It's crazy. And then one person was talking about, he still feels he still remembers or feels the pains of how he was reprimanded by his mother and father when he was a kid. And I'm like, I do too. And I thank God for it, because had I not got that, my behind would be somewhere in jail or dead. So the Bible does say, train up a child in the way that it should go. What a lot of people are doing is misreading, which I get that a lot. And every time I see it, I check them. Please read your Bible carefully. It did not say train up a child in the way that you want them to go. It did not say that. It said train up a child in the way that they should go, which means the child at some point in their life will know the direction that they want to go. Now you have, just getting off subject here for a little bit, you have people that have professions, first, second, third generation professions in their families, like plumbers, or journeyman licensed to do electrical work. Matter of fact, my wife's father passed away. He was an electrician. And he passed some of that down to his son, but his son didn't really follow through with it. But you have dentistry, doctors, firemen, policemen. You got these vocations that are first, second, third, fourth generation, that they are expected. Hear me now. They're expected to follow through and keep it. Why? Because of the honor code. And I think it's honorable, but I also believe that you need to allow a child to be excited about what they want, number one. But I do think that the parent needs to get in front of what the kid wants. Take a look around, and then begin to give oversight. Oversight, which is nothing more than high beams. Because when a young man or young woman decides what they want to do, and we all know it flip-flops and changes. I wanted to be an astronaut, a fireman, or whatever when I was a kid. Not where am I now? I'm a special education teacher. So it's good to allow a kid to explore and be explorative, but the parent is there to give oversight. The vision of the desire of the child will never be greater than the parent, but the vision of the parent is greater than the child. or the vision of the parent is greater than the desire of the child. So that means that the parent gives oversight, which means that he gives high beams, which means, okay, you want to do this? Okay, we'll do it. Let me cut the high beams on, and and watch this. When you turn the high beams on in front of your kid, you and the child see what's coming. You'll see it first, but then they'll see it too. So that means that a lot of times you ain't even got to speak to them. This is what we call pulling the reins. Pulling the reins. Pulling the reins. Pulling the reins. What do you think about that, son? Oh, I don't know about that. Okay, let's go over here right quick. You ain't telling him what to do. You're asking him, okay, what do you think? Now if it's something crazy, then yeah, you're gonna have to step in and be like, all right, look, no. That ain't happening. How do I know? Because I got an alligator bite right here that I got in that same pool that you're trying to go in, and the alligator's still there. He said, well, you bring your son when he gets of age. So no, we're not gonna do that, okay? Maybe when you get 21, whatever, you can go do what you want. But right now, we're trying to get you to 21. And this is what a lot of people are understanding concerning being so narcissistic that they will even allow their parenting to be subject to it. I know so much that I'm going to let my kid be just like me. No. And then you got parents, and this is not a parenting show 101, but I'm saying I've heard some stuff that try to be the kid's friend. You're not supposed to be your kid's friend. You're supposed to be their jailer. That's how I was raised. Now, in that, you are friendly and you are loving, but you're not friendly. You're not a friend. You know what I'm saying? Because friends' attitudes towards one another change. When you love your child, no matter what they do, you still love them. But when a friend crosses you, they most of the time. So I'm going to turn my plow here. The scripture says that 15, I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm going to go 15. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. Now, that would sound like a narcissistic statement, but let me bring this back into social media. What's going on social media? When you've been around the thing that is trying to influence you enough, and you understand what's going on over here from what's going on over here, and you're able to discern both of them, then once you make the call to be able to stand in between and be righteous and discern both and weigh both, then you cannot be judged. I think that America is scared to lose themselves. So a lot of the social media, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, a lot of it has people on those platforms that have that same thinking, that I'm scared to lose. So I'm going to do everything and anything that I can to do what? Retain my glory or retain my character by either making someone laugh, by making something, by destroying something, what it's all over the place or whatever. And a lot of those videos are not bad, but it's what the intent of the author. What is the person's intention for making the video? Freedom. The church has done a bad job because the church keeps preaching ethics and morals. Come on, somebody. This is too close. I'm going to slide this back some. Let's see here. Ethics and morals. And let me bring it up. And so when young people do find a church or whatever, they're automatically inducted into this system of rites and rituals, do's and don'ts. So when they get a glimpse of YouTube that is totally again the exact opposite of that, you can do what you want to do. Look, I'm jumping off this building. I mean, I remember a couple years ago there was something on YouTube to say, 10 ways to kill yourself. I'm like, what in the name of God? I knew something was going on when I started. This was about 5, 6 years ago. And, some boy was suing this girl over in China because he broke up with her. Is the things that social media promotes are things that when the child gets of age, they will not be able to properly differentiate between what's ignorant and what's integral. So we as parents have got to stand in the gap. That's what we're called to do. We're not called to stand beside our sons and our daughters. We're called to stand in front of them and take the bullets. Tell them, well, hey, you're your own person, but let me help you out. 1979, I was the same exact thing. Let me tell you what happened to me. Instead of allowing them to go into it face first, almost saw it. Yeah, I read it. I mean, I wish I could find out. I probably could, but I'm not going to do it. The lady was saying, that's how I live my son's life. I don't clip his wings or nothing. Let him do what he wants to do and be a free thinker. I said, you have lost your mind. I didn't. I restrained myself. How do you do that? So when he's 26 and in jail, I want you to think about this Facebook post. Because in the evolution of children, it is already known, because we were children once, weren't we? That the child is going to try to do something that they know they're not supposed to do. That's also in the scriptures. So why don't we allow our children to do those things? And it is because of this. It's because we love them. Well, some proponents will say, I know my buddy would say, if you love them, you wouldn't put rules and legalistic stuff on. I said, well, and he still haven't answered any of my questions when I talk about this stuff. I say, well, do you want the cop to give you a slap on the wrist when you were speeding and you passed 3 speed signs and he pulls you over? We need to be responsible for our children. Please hear me, people. I don't have no one here tonight, and that's fine. I'm sure someone will get it today, tomorrow, next year, or in 25 years, they'll get it, because YouTube probably will still be around. What I'm saying is we need to make sure that we are monitoring what our kids are taking in. I had a guy at a place of business the other day was telling me that, when he gets home from school, all he does is, watch YouTube and play Roblox. I said, no, get him outside, toss the ball, take him out to McDonald's, or someone talk to him, get him out off of that stuff. Am I saying it's bad? No, it's not. But in a modicum of exposure, it's not bad. But too much of anything is bad, because what it does is it subliminally sends again that signal into our children that I can do what I want to do. See, and you even got some of the TV shows, you got to watch them, where the kid says, "Oh, mom, shut up," and then and the applause sign go on, and the studio audience is, "Yay!" I say, "Aunt, cut that crap off. No. That seed ain't going in your mind." Because see, I want to spend more time, if I don't address it now, digging it up, than being to your mentor and guiding you on your journey, because your journey is not my journey. I'm just guiding you. But they don't see that. All they see is, and I think I've heard this before, and I will get ready to close, that a lot of times Parents in this time do not want their children to go through what they went through, so they're slack on them. Oh, my mom used to always beat me, or my mom used to always tell me, grandma was tell me to go out to the back and get a switch, and if it was too short, she beat me twice, and then she'll send me over to Miss Pearlie house, and Miss Pearlie wouldn't even know her around, but Miss Pearlie will beat me. Then it should to send me down to Mr. Joe house, and Mr. Joe he'll beat me, and then I had to come back home. I had never understood why people that wasn't even related to me would beat me, and I said the reason why is because when mama is not around and you in the store about to steal something or about to do something bad, Miss What's the face and Mr. Joe is in the store, and all they gotta do is this. Community. That's what I went through. I turned out fine. So I don't know what the problem is with discipline. That's just nobody wants to discipline, and so the parents don't want their kids to endure what they did with their parents. I'm like, well, how'd you turn out? If you did you turn out bad? Well, if you did, then you need to do that. If you turned out well, you still need to do it to continue to continue the trend. And I think that's doing our children a bad disservice, especially when they get of age and they have to, maybe without you around, you could be dead. You could have got a car accident. And I tell my son this every so often. I'm trying to put as much information and much discipline in front of you as possible, so that if by chance something happens to your mother and I tomorrow, you can carry on, with that part of discipline inside of you from your mother and from your father. But it seems as though in this day and time, no one cares about that. Everyone cares about if I can't do what I want to do, then everybody else is wrong. And if I can do what I want to do, everyone's still wrong. So it's a no-brainer. It's all about, again, me and my three. So I'm going to close in just a second here. I wanted to extend prayer to single parents, single moms, single dads that are struggling with trying to find a way to connect with their children. I am a special education teacher, and so I see a lot of this stuff, man. I mean, every school year, I can tell within 2 minutes of talking to a new kid what kind of home life he has. I've been around it long enough, so I know. I can tell. I can tell if he's getting disciplined or he's not. So I think that in its right, social media is great, but what's happening, and I'm seeing this slowly, is that when kids can't get what they want from parents, they automatically, a lot of them, not just some, a lot, will revert back to what they're intaking to determine how they're going to respond to the no. I'm going to say it again. A lot of kids, again, I'm a teacher. I see it all the time. So this ain't something I'm just making up. I'm in it every day. If they don't get a yes from their parent, what they will do, knee jerk, is go into their Rolodex or their video file and pull up something that they seen to and that what they saw is going to determine their response to their parent. Yeah. So for me to say that I don't want my kids to go through what my parents went through or what my parents put me through is to say that my parents were wrong. And Brenda Taylor and John Teal, far from it. I turned out to be a great young man. I got beat, I got slapped in the mouth, all that. Yeah, grandma slapped me in the mouth because I talked back to her. Never did it again. Made me clean the blood up off the kitchen floor too. Never happened again. Ever. It's not because of a fear quotient. It's because the parent / grandparent is saying, If you can talk back to the person who you see every day that provides for you, then you can talk back to the boss man that's trying to pay you 80 grand a year to start. I'm preaching right now. I ain't got time. I ain't got time for y'all. So, you see what I'm saying? But we want to let the kids do what they want to do. Ooh, do you? Yeah, okay, cool. By age 26, they'll be in jail or less. So it's all about not telling the kid what to do, but to be oversight to what they want to do, so that they will see you and them as they approach what they want to do. Like my son, he wants to, do something. Okay, cool. Let's go together. I don't want you to explore it on your own. Explore with someone who is what? Who is used to and familiar with you. Someone you trust. Another person. It's always great to have another person with you. A lot of times it's good to be alone, but sometimes you're doing joint efforts or efforts that need more than one eye of scrutiny. A lot of things that a lot of atheists and non-believers don't want. They don't want you to scrutinize anything that they do. Yet they're asking questions all the time. But if the question you answer, if you answer them and your answer is not lined up with their agenda, then all of a sudden you're wrong. Wait a minute. You asking questions. You ask the questions. How you going to ask the question and be mad at the answer? That's childish. You, if anything, you need to say, well, thank you for your insight, sir. Don't say, it's pointless or it's banter. Okay. Anyway, so it's great to have someone in your game, and I'm gonna put this on my Facebook probably tomorrow, that you need to be around people that challenge the way that you think, because you don't know it all. I'm talking about narcissism. Challenge the way that you think so you can go back into your box and begin to spiritually discern. So you can start weighing stuff. Because there's no weighing when you are allowed to do what you want to do. There's no balance. It's always this. It's me. And then when you so high and you imbalance, when something does come to bring you down, guess what? Scales flip, and you can't bring yourself back to ground zero or to ground state, because you had so much of you up here that when something comes along to bring you down, you go past ground state and now you hit rock bottom. Then you're making a phone call or two. I'm not talking to you today. Get yourself around people. Don't be around a bunch of yes people. I told the young man this a while ago. You better be careful about folks on your Facebook page telling me you're right. 100% of the time, there's a problem. That means no one is challenging you. That means you're not growing. Challenge equals growth, people. And this is what I'm instilling in my son. I'm going to challenge you every day to be the best you can be on your way to what you're supposed to be doing, which at this point I really don't know yet. But I'm going to be there when that box opens. I'm going to be right there with him. Okay, no, this it. Okay, cool. Let's do it together. This is Prophet Kyle, Transform Ministries with Church Talk, talking about the spirit of narcissism versus the spirit of discernment. We'll probably pick this up maybe next week. God bless you. I thank you for listening. And remember, you're the best person in the world. You're the only person like you. Go out and handle your business. I will talk with you guys next week. God bless you.